welcome everybody. Emily Morgan here with Delegate Solutions. We're a premium virtual assistant firm. And today I have the honor of speaking with Eric Cruz with Cruz Consulting. Welcome, Eric.
Thank you, Emily.
Eric is a business growth expert that's helped 75 companies and growing generate over 100 million in revenue in the last 5 years alone. His company, Cruz Consulting Group, helps entrepreneurs increase revenue, profitability, and salable value of their business. He also helps companies implement EOS, the Entrepreneur's Operating System, which we're a huge fan of, and helps develop a framework of something called the 13 elements of a successful business that helps business owners identify and build out the key functions of a thriving company. Welcome, Eric.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm very grateful to be here.
Great. Can you tell us a little bit about Cruz Consulting and the work that you all do?
Sure. So like you said, we are a consulting business. We are a team of advisors and EOS implementers that help companies with pretty much every step of their entrepreneurial journey. We focus mainly on small and medium-sized businesses, mostly under $50 million. And we're really trying to help them soup to nuts, starting with the organization of their business, and for many of them, taking them through the marketing, sales cycle, finance side of their business, all the way through to their exit. And then for some companies, like you said, we just focus on EOS on their business. So our goal is to help our companies grow, scale, growth, increase profitability, and increase the saleable value of their business along the journey.
Cool. And are you guys, I guess you're working remotely, but are you able to work with companies all around the country?
We work with companies all across the United States,
awesome.
In all different sectors, really. We have really all sectors. We work with 45 companies right now, and nothing heavy in any particular sector, all of them.
Yeah, we're the same. We say we're industry agnostic.
That pretty much sums it up for us too.
Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit, particularly about EOS. So we run on EOS and have for about 2 years now, and a lot of, it's transformed the business 100%. But today I want to focus on the delegation side of EOS and on entrepreneurs in particular, why they are such a bottleneck in the business. But let's kind of talk about EOS. What is EOS? How can it transform your business?
So EOS, for those that don't know, stands for the Entrepreneurial Operating System. And it really is an operating system, just like it says. It's just like if you were to buy a computer and it's running on Windows, that'd be your operating system. For companies that run on EOS, it's the framework that runs their entire business. I didn't mention, it didn't come up earlier, but I actually still do own 2 of my own companies, and we actually have about 300 plus employees.
Oh, wow.
And I'm still active in those 2 businesses, and those 2 companies actually run on EOS as well. So just like yourself, not only do I have a consulting business, but I have 2 companies that run on EOS. And so I really am a true believer. So you did mention the 13 steps of we think are what makes up a successful business. But that very first step for us is to really help companies put in some kind of organization structure that's sustainable, that becomes their language. And for us, we've chosen to use the EOS system. So while we are a consulting business, we're a consulting business that believes you need to have that operating system to really run your business. And that's the first step for us. So in my companies that I own, as well as our clients, what it does is it helps them to get a clear vision, really starting with the leadership team, but eventually to all the employees in the company. So the vision for the 10 years, where are we going in 10 years? Where are we going in a year? And you know all this stuff as you're doing it. Where are we going in a year? What are our initiatives for next year? And then really, what are our rocks? We call them rocks, or our priorities for the next 90 days. And then we all get aligned on that, and every single person in the company gets that. And then throughout that journey, what we work with companies on is getting everybody to talk openly and honestly throughout that journey, to get rid of all the politics and the different agendas, and just to say, for all of us, what are we trying to accomplish? And what do we need to do the next 90 days to get there? So to us, it all comes down to what do we focus on the next 90 days? Because we know that that links up to the 1-year goals, the 3-year picture, and our 10-year plans.
Yeah, I know. We have our quarterly day tomorrow, actually, our quarterly planning day.
Fun.
And we had our last quarterly day going into COVID, like right as everything was starting and all the clients
Your
were
bookends.
freaking
I have
out.
clients like you.
Yeah. We're like, how are we even supposed to focus on this? Because a quarter is like a year right now, is like how it feels in terms of the intensity of it. But we actually got, I think, almost all of our rocks done for the quarter somehow, which is an accomplishment.
Yeah. So that's impressive. So I have companies just like yours. I've got 3 or 4 companies that this is all of you. As we were going into COVID, it was like you could sense it. The state was getting ready to go into shutdown. I had quarterlies right around that week, and then because it's been kind of a 90-day thing, this past since COVID started, really since it became really tough across the United States. Those clients are now doing quarterly meetings again. And what's interesting, I found, is that especially for our longer term clients, we got a bunch of longer term clients. I mean, this is all new to us. I didn't know how they were going to handle these quarters. I knew how our companies were handling it. But interestingly, the longer term clients, their priorities stayed the same for the most part, even during COVID. And I think, or during the heart of COVID. And I think that EOS helped that journey. It helped us anyway.
A ton. One of my rocks for the quarter was create and execute an emergency response plan, which we did not have yet. So, we got that done.
Great rock.
Yeah. But I think for us, like EOS, and I was talking to my friend, my girlfriend yesterday, and she's wanting to maybe start a company, and it requires service people. It's a pool cleaning company. And she's like, I just want to be able to trust my employees. I was like, we're not talking about trust at this point. We're talking about creating systems of accountability so that they know what they're supposed to be doing. And you have a process and they follow it and there's metrics. And, she was kind of like trying to keep up with where I was going with that. But like that's to me what EOS is about. It's about transparency, alignment, and creating accountability. Exactly.
It's those 3 things. So it's interesting. I know you have a few questions about individual tools and that kind of thing. As I started to research that, I started to say, what are the most impactful? And I do have a few, but it really is the whole package. You got to have the vision, you got to have the tools, and then you got to be healthy. And if you're not those 3 things in tandem, one of those 3 things breaks. And it can take leadership teams up to a year to build that trust, sometimes much longer. But once you get that trust and all the agendas are gone, it's just free flow conversation, and you really are working for the better of the business, which is, I call it the business is humming. It really feels good to be involved in a business like that.
Good stuff. So we know, obviously, talking about the leadership team, that a company's ability to grow really stems from the leadership team being able to execute. So what do you recommend for business owners to get out of their own way to allow growth to happen?
Yeah, so that's a great question. And in the EOS language, we call it letting go of the vine. And it's funny, the expression that Gino uses, and Gino wrote the book Traction. He says, you got to let go of the vine. And there's a couple of things to that. One, you have to be willing to let go of the vine, meaning you have to be willing to let go of those daily things. You can't be a control freak, or your business is only as big as you can control it at that point. And the second thing is you have to have people that you can actually let go of the vine who are going to catch it. So you got to have both, or you're going to have a tough situation. So the tools that have helped myself and our clients are making sure that the vision is clear, so that the owner can step back because they see that the vision is mapped out, and they can see it on we have this thing called a vision traction organizer. The owner can see that their vision is on one page. On the second page are the priorities for the next 90 days into a year. And that tool allows the owners and myself and my own companies to say, okay, they're working on the right stuff. I don't need to dictate more. In fact, if I do, I may actually hurt the company. So one, you got to have that. And then 2, you got to have, and this is the biggest thing I've really learned, when I was younger in my business career, kind of like your friend, I used to think my biggest job as a CEO was to get everybody to actually get stuff done. And I'll say that's important. It's very important. But I've learned as a CEO that my bigger job as I've matured as a business person is to help people to know what they should be doing and to give them that vision. And then my second biggest job is to make sure I have the right people in the right seats who can achieve that vision without me having to really, manage them and micromanage them, as that term goes. So the EOS focuses on making sure that the right people in the right seats, specifically in operations, in finance, and sales, and in this position we call the integrator. Now, I found that for companies that are trying to scale, a lot of scale comes in finding the right people to be in those seats. And when I find a CEO is not stepping out of the way, my question to her or him is to say, why don't you trust that person to do their job?
Yeah.
And that leads to a whole bunch of other questions. But I think when a CEO is jumping in, their person is saying, I feel the need to be here. And that's taking away from that leadership team or even to other employees in your organization. So ideally, you set the vision, you get the right people in the seats to be clear on that vision, and you're good to go.
That's the dream. So what EOS tools or exercises do you recommend for people to let go of the vine? Because, we're going to bring the power of delegation and the execution side of that, but there's still a mindset shift and a tactical handoff.
Sure. Oh, one, you just said something really important, and that is that mindset shift. You said earlier, that is the dream. It's funny. We work with some companies that are, even I walk in the first couple of days and I'm thinking, oh man, this I don't know. Like I hope this works. And I am still shocked by some of these firms that start here, and by having that mindset, which is the biggest thing they really need. The owner says, I'm just going to surrender. Like EOS is a lot about, you just got to surrender to the process. The process and the team will take care of you if you let it. And I think that mindset's actually key. When a CEO and a leadership team actually just gives up and says, let's actually give up our egos and everything and start working, that is the biggest tool, actually, is that mindset. But I'll give some specifics in answer to your question. The Delegate and Elevate tool we have found to be life-changing. And I won't go into all the details because I know we're short on time. But there's a tool called Delegate and Elevate. You can look it up online. Delegate and Elevate, which is getting stuff to be in the hands of the right people who love doing it and who are amazing at doing it. That's an amazing tool. That Delegate and Elevate chart I use in my companies constantly and companies we work with. GWC, once you have the right person in the seat, do they get it? Does the person want it? Do they have the capacity to do it? GWC is a great tool. They can Google that one. Then there's the Assistance Track, which seems like a shameless plug for you guys, but it's not meant to be. The Assistance Track is about buying back hours. Mm-hmm. So right now, everybody's so swamped. And when our companies and my own companies and our companies we work with, we're asking ourselves, who are doing things that should be in somebody else's hands? And we look at everybody in terms of what is their rate of pay? Where is their pay? And are they really focusing on the highest value activities for that role? And the Assistance Track, which is an EOS tool, is perfect because it challenges the CEO and the leadership team to ask, are we focusing on only the high value activities that are going to move the business? Or are we doing a lot of other stuff that we should not be spending our time on? That somebody else loves to do that stuff, they should be doing it. We should be focused on moving the business forward. So the Assistance Track is an amazing tool for buying back some of those hours that right now all of us are losing, especially because of the coronavirus. And that's really tough for all of us. And then I'd say the People Analyzer is also a big one, because the People Analyzer, which is the reason I started doing EOS in my own companies before I started as a consultant, it really helped me answer the question, is this person really the right person in my company or not? And before I had that People Analyzer tool, it was very subjective. And that tool made me realize now I can know for sure, is this the right person for the seat? And that honestly answered 15, 20 plus years of questions in my mind. I had the tool and I said, now I know the answer. And the tool's frankly always right. So those are the tools that I use.
Thank you. Yeah, they're a shameless plug for us. So we have about 40 employees, and when we're tasked with doing the People Analyzer, we're like, whoa, this is really overwhelming. So we created an Excel sheet that it's like a Google sheet that's shared, where we set up the People Analyzer. GWC? Are they a core values fit? And it scores team members. So if anybody needs access to that, we're happy to share. The other thing you mentioned, delegate and elevate, we run a similar exercise and we offer that complimentary on our site, where we'll do the worth calculation with them and then run something similar to delegate and elevate complimentary and give you a report of, what is the outcome of that? What things can you hand off? What does that equate to dollars wise? So we are using the exact same tools that you're mentioning, which is cool.
Well, you're buying back hours. So when you finally find these resources that take time to get, you want them focusing on things, including yourself, that are the high value activities that you're paying that person to do. Yeah. And if they end up doing a bunch of other stuff, you're not getting the value. The organization is not getting the value it's supposed to be getting out of those people.
Right.
It doesn't work.
Yeah. And if you take those hours and you're focused on growth, you're compounding that investment. Yeah.
It's funny. I end up doing a lot of other stuff that's not, high value activities. Sometimes I do it because it honestly makes me, it's like busy work. It makes me feel better because I'm like distracted.
That's true.
What I've learned is that that's not the most valuable way to run your day. You really have to get in and say, this work I should not be doing. Somebody else loves doing this. I should be focused on these activities that are going to drive my business today. And I find that if a CEO can even focus on 5 or 6 hours in a day that really drive the business, and this for everybody in the senior leadership team and the rest of the company, you get a lot done in that time. So the assistance track is about what can we give to people to make sure we get that high value time back.
Yeah. And we would recommend doing that every quarter, twice a year, with frequency. It's not a one and done type inventory.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so is there anything that you're currently working on that you'd like to share with our listeners?
So we have, our business has morphed. I started volunteering, honestly, years ago, and then I became an EOS implementer. I became a certified implementer, and our business has grown. And we have recently, to put a frame around it, we put together what we call the 13 key elements of a business. And we now help CEOs through really all steps of the journey. And, we're building out those tools that they need to run their business itself. So, we've had a lot of fun with that. And we really leveraged and leaned on it a lot, especially during COVID. We had a lot of time to work on the business. And, that's what we're working on. So it's been a transformation for our business. And we've added on really, really talented team members to be able to do that stuff. But it's funny, I'll say we rebranded as a consulting business. And it's funny, EOS can't stand consultants, and there's probably a good reason for that. But what's funny about our consulting business is that our consulting business only exists because we run EOS in a very pure format, and we believe in that. And when you run EOS in a great way, you can then work on the business in a great way. So that's why for us it's the most important thing. You got to run a clean EOS process. It's got to be amazing. And then you do work on this, then everything else falls out of it for priorities. Now we do work with companies that don't run on EOS, and they do other stuff, and we love those companies too. But even those companies eventually say, well, maybe I can use some of those tools in my business. And we say, yeah, probably good idea. So that's what we're working on, and we're having a lot of fun doing it.
Awesome. And where can people go to continue the conversation with you?
So you can go to crewsconsultinggroup.com, CREWS consultinggroup.com, or you can email me directly, Eric at crewsconsultinggroup.com. And we are a help first company, just like, one of the EOS values. I know like your company is as well. I did this as a volunteer for many, many years now, and we still do to some degree. But we will help you first. We'll certainly engage with you to do business with you. But we love entrepreneurship. We love entrepreneurs. And however we can help, even just an outside perspective for an hour or two, we'll give you that time. It's what we love to do.
Awesome. Love it. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing and for being here today. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you having me on.
All right. Thanks again, Eric. Take care.
Thank you.